boring, dull. That's prerequisite for most early 80s slasher horror movies, and that has a lot of it. The filmmakers in this weren't that very talented, and it came around at the right time. Can you believe it was right in that 81, probably the best year for slasher movies, especially ones named after holidays like this one was. This has probably only become a cult classic because of the title Graduation Day. It would have definitely been forgotten, like a lot of other good 80s horror movies that don't have good titles. Can you believe this movie was made for $250,000 and it made $24 million only in 1984? And then as the 80s moved on, most of those 80s horror movies just went straight to video. But this was still in the area of 1981, so when it came out, the screenwriters, they didn't even really interact the characters very well. It plays out like a whodunit. I don't suggest it for most people. I'd give it a D plus, C minus at best on a good day. We get great lines like, "Oh, ma'am, can you come over here for a minute? Can you tell me whose this photo is?" "Oh, yes, that's a track team." "Oh, what's your stake in this?" And that's the investigator who is investigating the murders of the track team. Basically, what happens in this is a track member dies of a blood clot when she run the race. Then the track members keep on running past her in the race, even though the race is over. They just do it to get out of the camera shot. There's so many rough around the edges camera work throughout this whole movie. The villain dresses up in a fencing outfit. It plays out like a whodunit, even though no one really even has a motive. There's only two red herrings, basically. The sister of the girl that died, the coach of the track team, and then, alright, now for everyone that hasn't seen it, I'm going to go into more spoilers, and this is for people that have seen the movie. A co-ed track team. The track team is like it's like 9 people on a track team. That's like barely enough to cover the pole vaulting in each event. And then another genius move by the scriptwriter, we have a football scene death where it's like they dress up a jock in like a football outfit and they like stab him with, who the hell knows at that part, with the football through like a sword or some stupid shit. So then the rest of the track members start ending up dead, and you're like, who done it? Even though we already know who done it. And then there's like even like a 7-minute like music scene. It's like still stuck in the late 70s, of course, so it has that vibe going to it. It's exploitative to the point where there's enough nudity. Some people might say the gore was good for its day, but I've seen a lot of horror movies from the early 80s and 81, and this is a little bit actually, I'd say it's about average. I've seen ones that are worse for 1981 that were really subpar. So this was about average. There's a few creative deaths. The pole vault death, the football death's just retarded. But what else do I have to say here? So anyway, I'm gonna go on to the ending now. The killer was revealed as the boyfriend. And you're like, no shit, he's like the only one with a motive. I usually don't like to try and think ahead and see who is the killer. No, actually, after you watch as many 80s slasher movies as I see, you get to the point in the movie about 75% the way in. There's no really story to follow. Like I'm saying, the characters don't really interact that much, only to jog. They're in their own worlds getting ready for graduation day. No one has sympathy for graduation. So the killer is their boyfriend because I don't know if he's sociopathic or he's just went through a traumatic event to where He doesn't feel like the only answer is getting even or lashing out some of his anger. And so there really isn't much. This is how you can see who the killer is, because they completely ignore the boyfriend the whole movie. Her sister only shows up at his house, and then the rest of the movie they don't even put him in camera shots really. And so where am I here? So what's good is kind of like the ending when he gets revealed. The guy plays it good. He's kind of mentally disturbed to the point where I don't know if he is a psychopath or a sociopath, but and then he dresses up his girl Anne, who died, in her graduation outfit, saying they were gonna get married. Pretty decent ending. I've seen a lot of dead corpses resurrected and put clothes on them for the ending. Mortuary, happy birthday to me. But it was okay. But then there was so much filler, doll filler. You could see it coming from a mile away, and there's not. And the investigators just, yeah, he's investigating the freaking murders, and he sees the track team's missing, and he finds the serial killer's like hit list, like checked off prom night style with lipstick, and it's like a picture of the track team, and he has to ask what it is. This is just terrible. Terrible filmmaking up and down. It's only remembered for the graduation day title, and it shouldn't be remembered for anything else. I'm sure a lot of people like this just for it being an 80s slasher films, but there's other 80s slasher films out there that I would recommend before this. But it's a must-watch for 80s slasher fans. I wouldn't recommend it to rookie horror fans. But anyway, this was JBM from Villain News, Villain Radio, and Mr. Creepshow 09, and I'm out. Tell me your thoughts.